Hello there, fellow classic comic collectors and comic fans and readers. It's me, Scott Harris King, the creator of the Crimebusters, the writer of the Crimebusters, and creator and writer of Cthulhu vs. Uncle Sam. And I'm here because we are counting down the last hour of the campaign for the Crimebusters number 5. It's been a lot of work, but it's been very exciting. The support for this has been really humbling and gratifying. Like, I'm very grateful to all of you for supporting the Crimebusters and supporting my comics. As you know, it's a real labor of love for me to do this. I've been working all day long on these comics and just trying to get everything ready, everything perfect. And I really appreciate all of your support. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So thank you all very much. Thank you to my wife for putting up with me. Whenever I have a Kickstarter campaign, I get really stressed out for weeks on end. So I really appreciate all the support here at home and all the support from all of you. So the campaign ends at 10 o'clock, so just under an hour. So let's take a look at where we are right now. I'll hit this button here. And as you can see, we are at 120 backers, currently at $4,323, which is, both of those numbers are fantastic. You know, they're much higher than the previous highs for last issue Crimebusters. So I'm really, really excited and grateful. We'll see where we are at the end of the campaign in an hour. Typically, I don't have a lot of activity in the last hour, but the last couple campaigns have been a bit of an anomaly with that. I've been getting a lot more activity at the end. I had a lot of backing right at the end of the last campaign for Cthulhu vs. Uncle Sam number 2. Previous campaign, I actually had someone cancel their pledge within the last 2 minutes. So positives and negatives. So nothing here is set in stone. These numbers are not set in stone. They could change either direction at any time. But suffice to say that if we were to end with these numbers, I would be very, very happy. So of course, at this point, this being the end of the campaign, most everyone has already seen the campaign, so I probably don't need to show you too much about it. But I will mention a couple things. So this lead image here, that's main image. This is from the Trixie's Mysteries variant cover by artist Len M. And I absolutely love this. Let me scroll down so you can see the whole cover. Here it is. The Trixie's Mysteries Book 5, the Clockwork Collection. Here's Len M's full cover. And I just really love this cover. I've showed this to a few people, like other creators. We have like a back channel sort of support group for people that are running the Kickstarters. And everyone kind of agreed, like, this basically tells the whole story. Like, this image is the comic. It shows you exactly the vibe I'm going for. So I just absolutely love this. So, I'm hoping to work more with Len M in the future, to get more art and have her draw more things. I'd love to have her do some stories, not just covers for me, but her art's really good. So she's in a lot of demand right now. So that hasn't really worked out yet, but that's what we're hoping for. And of course, I also want to mention my regular series artists, starting with this issue, Mac Radwanski. And here we see the samples of some of his pages. It's been really great working with Mac. He's very easy to work with, very professional. Very rarely do we have any kind of anything that needs to change or be tweaked. He'll send me the layouts. He understands what I'm going for. And it's just been very smooth. And I love his artwork. It's exactly sort of what I have in my head with the comic, more so than when I was drawing it myself. So um, I'm really excited for everyone to get to see Mac's art. Mac, as soon as we hit the funding goal, he started working on issue 6, the next issue. So we've already got the cover, which I'll show later. It's not colored or inked, or like it doesn't have the finished shading and stuff, but we have all the line work and the basic cover. So I'll show that later for issue 6. And he's currently working on the interior pages. So we're hoping to have issue 6 out later this year as well. One of the reasons I brought Mac on board was so that we would be able to get the comic out faster and more regularly. And so, we're hoping to have issue 6 out this fall, and then next year, fingers crossed, knock on wood, if everything goes well, really hoping to get 3 issues out next year. I'm hoping that by the end of 2024, we'll have gotten past issue 9 and really be on a roll. We do have the story planned out through issue 30. So I'm hoping everyone enjoys this and is on board, because things really kick off in this issue, sort of sets up everything that's going to come in the future. So very excited for that. Of course, the other thing is, now that we're at issue 5, one thing about this story, every issue is a self-contained, individual story, start to finish. You have a beginning, middle, and end, a new mystery in every issue. This issue does pick up with some plot threads from the previous issues, which is the first time I've done this. And that's partially because I knew that this was going to be the end of the trade. So I wanted to sort of bring together the character arcs and the plot arcs and subplots and everything that's been going on in the first 4 issues. I wanted to sort of bring it all together here in issue 5, so that for people that do read it in the trade, it'll be a satisfying experience. It also sets up what's going to happen in the next batch of 5 issues. So even though it's hopefully a satisfying experience to just read the single issue, that's what I always hope for and plan for story-wise. I think if you read them all together, it'll give you even more. And so now that we have this issue out, once this is printed, then we're going to be collecting the first 5 issues in a trade. Hopefully, again, that'll be sometime later this year. I'm hoping sometime this summer, between issues 5 and 6, we'll have a trade collecting the first 5 issues. But there's still some work to be done on that. So I don't have anything firm to announce, but that's the hope. And all the support for this really, really helps a lot with being in a position to be able to do the trade, because the trade's very expensive to do. Obviously, we'll be doing another Kickstarter for that if we get to that point, to help with the costs. But because I'm doing this sort of small print run on demand, it costs quite a bit to do a trade. And it'll be big, because every issue of this is large. The shortest issue has been 34 pages, I think, and some of their longest one is 38. So the story, just the stories, are going to be about 100 and trying to do some quick math here and not doing very well. But once you add in all the bonus material stuff, we're basically going to be looking at a trade that's going to be over 200 pages. It's going to be thick. It's going to be big. So that's expensive. And so the generous support that I've gotten for this campaign is really, really helpful in terms of being financially in a position to do a trade. There's some work that needs to be done to get some of the early issues sort of bring them in line with the later ones, get everything sort of together art-wise, and the coloring all uniform and stuff like that. And then but that's down the road. But we're very excited to have this first 5 issues here, and just really excited to bring this to everybody. So we just got 50 minutes left. And the other thing I want to say is, like, I'm very excited. I went back and forth with some of the stretch goals. So let's take a look at the stretch goals. Let me call that up here. Badoink. Let me adjust that. So you can see we actually had 3 stretch goals, and we blew through them so quickly I didn't even get a chance to announce the second stretch goal. We had already unlocked it before I announced it. Like I was able to put the graphic up on the page, but I hadn't actually sent out an update to the backers to tell them what it was going to be in the stretch goal before we got it. But there's certain things I like to do with the stretch goals. I like to have these digital rewards, digital bonus rewards, so that all the backers have a chance to get something from hitting the stretch goals. So, like, right now we're at 120 backers, and of those, close to half of them are digital. So we're right now, I don't know what the exact number is, but I think it's something like it's like 65-55, with like 55 digital backers. So almost half of the people are digital. I do want everybody to get something from the stretch goals. So everyone who backs physically also gets all the digital rewards, but by doing a lot of digital bonus rewards, it really benefits everybody. So in this case, I'm making the PDF bigger and better. I'm adding 45 extra pages of Golden Age comics. Since some of the characters are public domain characters from the Golden Age, you'll be able to see some of their original stories to get the context and stuff like that if you're into that sort of thing. There's 6 complete bonus digital comics. So as I mentioned, I've got some friends. We got sort of a mutual support group for Kickstarter comic creators, and there's a pool of these digital comics, the PDFs that we sort of give to each other as bonus rewards to help each other out. And in this case, I was trying to do something a little bit different than usual, which is, during every campaign, I like to highlight other campaigns that are live at the same time. A lot of them are by these friends. And so these bonus comics are all going to be comics that I cross promoted with, that I shared their campaigns during my campaign. So I wanted to sort of put my money where my mouth is. These are the campaigns I've been talking up. And so if you back those, then fantastic. But if you haven't backed them yet, now you'll get like a free sample to see. So next time, maybe you'll like those. And those comics are going to be Shark of War #1, which I shared before. And one of my early campaigns. Same with Sentinels 267, but we've also got Nightwolf #1, Mandrill PI #1, Sunmaker #1, and Rancidville #1. So you'll be getting, if you're a backer here, you'll be getting the PDFs for all of those complete comics. There's also going to be a suite of digital wallpapers. So I'll have for your phone or your desktop, I'll have Crimebusters wallpapers and Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam wallpapers. I like to do an audio commentary track, which is basically I go page by page through the issue and I talk about the creative process and just sort of talk about the story. And sometimes there's like different references and stuff to either back issues or stuff that were happening historically, since it's set in the 50s, stuff like that. So the commentary track, I like to just talk you through that. I do one of those for every issue, and it's something that I enjoy. I don't know if anyone ever listens to them, but I enjoy doing them. And I think for people that really get into the universe, I think it's something fun for them. And then, of course, the thing that I really love to do is the trading cards. So all backers will get these 3 new trading cards. I don't know why this never occurred to me until my last campaign, that I could actually do the digital versions of these trading cards for the PDF people. So we're going to do that this time. We unlocked 3 new trading cards. It's Louver, the Queen in Yellow, and the Knights in Yellow. I'm really excited for these. Of course, the Knights in Yellow we've seen in the first 2 issues of Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam. This is the first time they're appearing in Crimebusters. And of course, they're trying to summon the Queen in Yellow, who's on one of the Kickstarter exclusive variant cover for this issue. So we got their cards. And then we also have the Louver trading card. And Louver was a character from the Golden Age. He was Chuck Chandler, Crimebusters' mentor. He's the FBI director in New York City, and he guest stars in this issue. He's going to be very important to the story going forward. He, like as I mentioned, he's sort of Chuck's mentor. He's like a second father for Chuck. Once after Chuck's parents were killed, it was Louver that sort of took him in and has been sort of a father figure. So he's going to be a very important figure for the rest of the series going forward. So this is an important character, an important issue to really get Louver set up and his sort of role in the series set up. So I was very excited for that. Also, just as a fan of the original Golden Age comics, Louver's always cool. So it's really cool to have these cards. I love doing the trading cards. One thing that I really want to do. Oh, hi, it's Chris Davis. Chris Davis says, I love Crimebusters. Thanks so much, Chris. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I didn't see when you came in a minute ago because when I'm sharing a screen, I can't actually see myself. I can't, like, I'm over on the other page, but I was just talking about how much I love the trading cards. And one thing I really want to do, and I just haven't figured out how to do it yet, I have some, like, I've been researching this, but there are these trading card folders that you can get for like Magic the Gathering or like I don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh, that sort of thing, which they're like little notebooks and inside each of the pages is a plastic page with sleeves to put in 4 cards, right? And I want to get some of those that are like custom made with the Crimebusters like on the front cover, and then maybe Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam on the back, and just have a little like collector card notebook so you can use it to keep all of your Crimebuster trading cards in. And I've been researching how to do that. I'm not sure I can do it in the miniature size. The miniature size holds 4 cards. The full size notebook is 9 cards per page, but of course it's like a full size notebook. That I think I can do, but I'm just trying to research, like I want it to really look cool. And hopefully I'll have that. It might not be till next year because I'm just having a lot of trouble just figuring out how to do it. But I might do a Kickstarter basically just to do these Crimebusters card notebooks, because now we're up to 23 trading cards in the set now. So it's at the point where I want to have a cool folder myself so I can look at all the cards. And if we do that, I've been looking into some really cool high-end trading cards. Like there's some metal trading cards you can get. I've even seen some that are metal that glow in the dark. So I might, if I do that, that might be like a stretch goal, like bonus reward for people who get the card notebooks to get some cool like Crimebusters metal trading cards or something. But anyway, these are all ideas that I have. I can't promise that it's going to happen, but if I can figure out how to do it in a way that financially is possible, then I'm definitely planning on doing it. Because it's, with a lot of the stuff, I started doing Crimebusters because I love the characters. It was the kind of comic that I wanted to read, and I wanted to read about like these kind of characters and these kind of stories, and I just wasn't finding it. So I decided that I would do it myself. And that's basically what I do with a lot of these rewards. I think the trading cards are cool. They're things that I like. So I make the trading cards because I wanted to have them myself. The same with like the 11 by 17 prints, the posters that I've been doing. I've been decorating my office with those because they look cool. And it's the same like with this, my idea to have the collectible sort of trading card notebook it's just something that I want for myself. And if I figure if I want it, then other people that like the Crimebusters may also want something similar. So why not see if people want it, and if people do, then we'll make it. So that's kind of my guideline is this: if it's something that I like, I figure there's gonna be some other people at least that like them. So we can see we just got another backer, up to 121 backers. So thank you to whoever just backed. I really appreciate it very much. Um, uh, and the campaign it's been doing great. And it's really done so much better than I thought it was going to. Um, to be honest, when I brought in Mac to do the art for me, um, I wanted to be able to get the stories out faster. So I have a lot of stories in mind for Crimebusters, and I really wanted to just do the comic faster than I can draw it. But of course, I'm paying Mac up front, so I wasn't really sure how it was going to go financially. I had the idea that with this issue, I figured I was probably going to lose quite a bit of money, actually, because it does cost quite a bit. But thanks to everyone's generous support, actually, it looks like that we might hit that break even point here. So that's really exciting, particularly because it means that it's that we can do more comics and more issues of Crimebusters. And Chris, I don't think you were here yet, but I mentioned, and I think I've put this in the updates, but Mac has already started drawing issue 6. He's already got the first couple pages in and the cover in. Let me see if I can. I'm going to try and call up the cover so we can take a look at it, since I'm talking about the cover here. Let me see if I can figure out how to share this. Technology. All right, here we go. Let me just see if I can figure out what this looks like. Okay, yeah. So here it is. Here's the cover for issue 6. As you can see, it's not colored yet. But issue 6 is going to have Uncle Sam. So we have the classic "I Want You," for the U.S. Army classic Uncle Sam posters, and there's going to be text there. I'm going to make it look just like the classic posters. But as you can see, this sort of demonic Uncle Sam is coming out of the poster and grabbing Trixie. So there's going to be some stuff with some haunted artwork, some haunted posters, and this is something where I actually had for people that have been reading Crimebusters for a long time. Just a little Easter egg, I guess. Easter egg's not even the right word, but this story's been in the planning for a long time, right from the beginning. Actually, I knew when I got to issue 6 it was going to be about the cursed posters. And if you read your copy of issue 2, in the backup story, where the one where Vera is building the jetpack, there's a part where right at the beginning where Trixie comes in the room and she's like, "Hey, I've got this new case." And the new case she's talking about is she heard about this cursed poster. And so she starts talking about these cursed posters, and Vera cuts her off and makes her leave because she's busy working on the jetpack. But that's this story. So Trixie is finally following up on that. Here's John. Hi, John. Thanks so much. This is my father-in-law, John. I really appreciate your support. I was just telling everyone about issue 6 with the haunted posters, and just mentioning that this is something that has something I was planning on since way back in issue 2. If you read the backup story of issue 2, Trixie mentions the case with cursed posters that she's looking into. But now she's finally in issue 6. The next issue, she's going to be finally investigating that. So for people that have been read issue 2 and noticed that line in the backup story about the cursed posters and have been waiting for the last 3 years to find out what she was talking about, we're finally working on that. And again, this will be colored, of course, and Mac he's already gotten a couple of the interior pages, so we're getting a jump on issue 6 because we have so many stories that we want to tell with this that we really want to do that. So there's 34 minutes left, and I'm just gonna check something here real quick. Okay, 34 minutes left, and anyone have any questions? Any questions from? I think everyone watching right now is family members, but anybody have any questions? I just share that screen again. I lost it here. Here we go. Sharing the screen again. One thing that I'll mention is, I guess, is the premium variants. I mentioned that we're going to be hopefully collecting all this in a trade soon, and because of that, when I did issue 4, I didn't print a lot of extra copies for issue 4, and that's kind of become a little bit of an issue here with number 5, because the campaign here for issue 5 has done so much better than I was expecting, and than my previous campaigns were, that I didn't really plan for this level of success. So the result is we've actually sold out of all of our sets of the Trixie mystery variants. Now, issue 5 is still available, but I was offering a set of all 5 issues in the Trixie's Mysteries variants, and that is limited basically by how many copies of issue 4 we have. And I've sold all of them now. So all of those sets are gone. And then the Boy Comics variant, haven't had as many people buy that this time. So there's still a couple sets left, but I think there's only maybe 4, possibly 5 sets of the Boy Comics variants left. And again, that is limited by the number of copies of issue 4 that I printed. And it's actually the same for the regular edition. So the regular cover for issue 4 I've just about sold out. I think I only have 1 or 2 copies left. So there are still a couple sets available of catch-up bundles where you can get all 5 issues if you've missed the first 4, but only a couple, because I just kind of under-ordered issue 4 because I just didn't anticipate quite this many backers. So again, that's just a testament to all of the wonderful support that you've all been giving. So I want to thank everybody for your support. I really appreciate it. It's all I can say is I'm very grateful for everybody's support. As you can see here, we're 31 minutes left, and we're at now with 30 minutes left. Just click down, 121 backers right now. So I really appreciate all the support. And there's other stuff I've completely sold out of. So like there's a couple rare variants of different issues, including some variants from Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, and with the backing, the pledge levels that people have selected here, completely sold out of those as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm a collector as well as a reader. So I try and keep the collectability, you know, when I say I'm going to do a certain print run or it's only going to be available here or there, I always stick to those numbers. That does mean, like, there's a couple in particular, the Incredible Hulk 181 variant for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #1. That's completely sold out now. I know that if I printed more, I'd be able to sell them, but I'm not going to do that. I said there's only going to be 25 copies, so we're going to stick to that. Yeah, it's just really, really thankful for everybody's support. I see we have a couple new people that have joined us. This doesn't actually tell me who they are, but just I can see there's more people watching. So whoever you are, thanks very much for joining us. If anybody has any questions about the Crimebusters, about this campaign, about issue 6, or about Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, I have a new fantasy comic that I'm working on called Quest. I guess I might show you some of that in a little bit. But if anybody has any questions about anything at all, doesn't have to even be about comics, but whatever. If anyone has any questions, just put it here in the chat. Chris says, my pledge includes 5 sketch card add-ons. When do you need to know from me the characters I would like for you to draw? Great question, Chris. Thanks so much for adding that on, but also thanks for asking that, because that does remind me of something that I forgot to mention. So there's 2 things, Chris. If you want, you can send me a message through Kickstarter and just tell me who you want to draw, and that'll work fine. What I'm going to be doing at the end of the campaign here, so next week I'm going to set up BackerKit. I've started using BackerKit for for the surveys and stuff. When I send out the survey through BackerKit, which will probably be, it might be next week. It might be the week after. I'm not sure. But whenever it is I send it out, there will be a question there that asks who you want me to draw. So if you want to wait for the survey, it will ask that question, and you can put it in, you can answer there. Or if you just want to send me a message who you want me to draw. I'm pretty sure that I've done some sketch cards for you before, and I'm working really hard to make them better, because I work digitally. So when I'm drawing on the sketch cards, they don't always turn out the way I want. And I think there's I might actually send you a couple extras. We'll see. But how well I'm doing. But I'm pretty sure there was at least one sketch card I sent you last time of Stu that I just didn't like how it came out, and it's been stuck in my head for the last 2 years that I could have done better with that. So I'm gonna try and make these as cool as I can. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. If you want to send me just a message to tell me who you want, I'll definitely make a note of it. Otherwise, you can wait for the survey either next week or the week after, and it'll ask you who you want the sketch cards for. But thanks for asking. I forgot to mention that BackerKit thing. Tartan Phantom, hi Rob. Thanks so much for joining me. Sorry that you're late. Don't worry about it. It's fine. There's still 26 minutes left. I was just answering Chris's question about the sketch cards. So, Rob, if you have any questions, feel free to ask about this campaign or any of the next issues or anything at all. I've been so busy with this campaign because I launched this campaign, and then the day after I launched it, I got all the comics from the printer for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #2. So I've been trying to run this campaign and fulfill the last one at the same time. And then I've also got 2 different artists that are working on upcoming comics that both needed scripts. So I've been working on Crimebusters 6, but also Quest #2. The artist is already working on that. So I've been super busy. I'm gonna pull this back to me since I've mentioned Quest a couple times. Maybe I'll show you some of that. This is an epic fantasy comic that I'm working on. It's sort of inspired by Dungeons and Dragons and by comics like Conan and Red Sonja and Warlord. I'm a huge fan of Warlord, so I really wanted to do something like that. This is going to be in addition to Crimebusters. Don't worry, Crimebusters isn't going anywhere. Like as I mentioned before, I have the story's basic plot ideas up through issue 30 of Crimebusters, so I'm committed to Crimebusters being sort of the main series that I do. That's my number one priority. But I do like other types of comics as well. So I've started doing quest here. Okay, here we go. As something else to do additionally. This is something that hiring Mac again so I can get Crimebusters out faster. It also has sort of freed me up since I don't have to spend as much time drawing to write more things. So here's the one of the covers for Quest. This is by a guy named Erwin Arosa, who does a lot of covers on Kickstarter. I really liked his style. It's very like movie poster sort of style. My wife says, as a fantasy lover, I'm very excited for Quest. Thanks very much, honey. I'm very excited for it too. As you know, I'm a big fan of that. And so we have our main characters here. There's going to be quite a few characters in the first issue, but they're going to form, like a party, sort of like in Dungeons and Dragons. And the Paladin Vess in the front is sort of the main character. Let me show you a couple more pictures from this. And again, if anyone has any questions about Crimebusters, please let me know. And then here's this is my homage cover. I'm going to do a series. I drew this one, and so I'm doing a series of like Bronze Age covers, one for every issue. This is my homage to Conan #1, featuring our main character Vesta Paladin, and this is going to be one of the variants. The one I just showed you before from Erwin Arosa, going to be variants. I haven't figured out anything like pricing or rarity or anything like that, but as I mentioned, one of my big influences for this series is stuff like Conan and Warlord. So I want to do stuff like that, and I still like to draw. So, and then let me show you the main cover has not been colored yet. So, but you can get an idea of it here. And then we'll get back to Crimebusters here, but I just wanted to share this since I've been talking about it. And this is from the interior artist. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this is obviously all going to be colored. I wanted this to feel for those of you who read old school comic collectors. There's a couple covers in particular that I sent him as references. One of them is Avengers 256. That was kind of one of the big references for what I wanted this cover to look like. This is our party about to go out on their quest. So anyway, that'll be out later this year. The art's the interior art's all done, like the pencils, the inks. So I'm just when I have time, I'm going to send it out to my colorist to get it flatted, and then add the final shading and the what's the word I'm looking for? The lettering, because since I wrote a full script, so it's all written, all the scripting is done. Tartan Phantom says, I know the vest is Conan inspired, but I saw some elements of Johnny Craig. Well, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. I mean, the background characters, are all straight out of the Conan one. So it's all early Barry Windsor Smith. The figure of Vest herself, I did myself. So I I think Johnny Craig would roll in his grave if he saw anyone compare my art to his, but I'll take it from my end. So thanks very much. I appreciate it. So we've only got 19 minutes left in the campaign. I really appreciate everyone coming out and joining me here. It's really exciting, and we haven't seen a lot of activity during this hour, but that's actually totally fine. This campaign's done so much better than I was expecting that I would gladly just sort of take it. As I mentioned, I have had campaigns where people have canceled pledges within the last 5 minutes of the campaign. So I'm not counting my chickens yet, but I would prefer, I'm very happy with how it goes. I don't need to be greedy. I'm just really grateful and thankful for everybody's support. It's really been great. I was about to say something. I'm trying to remember. I was somewhere recently, Rob, where I haven't posted the video yet, but my wife and I went to an antique, like a vintage show, not really antique, but a vintage like market last weekend, and there was two comic dealers there, and one of them had two long boxes of horror books, and they had a lot of DC and Marvel stuff, but they actually had a bunch of other stuff. They had long runs of ACG stuff. Like they had quite a lot of ACG, and they also had a lot of Charlton. I almost called you, but the place for some reason had a DJ, and the music was so loud that there was no way I couldn't have heard you even if I'd called you. But it's too bad because they had quite a bit of Charlton horror, but I don't know if you collect ACG stuff, but they must have had like 40 issues of Adventures into the Unknown. They had a lot of issues of Unknown Worlds, and the prices were good. It was good. Tartan Fan Rob says, I have a question about long-term plots for Crimebusters. How many issues do you already have plotted for the future? Not necessarily full scripts, plot ideas. So this main storyline that we're in now is going to go to issue 30, and I have that mostly planned out. So like I have sort of a 1 or 2 sentence like a couple sentence sort of like basic, this is what the issue is about, done for everything up to about issue 20, and then issues sort of like 20 to 26 or 27. I don't have it planned out in detail. Like I don't know what the plots are going to be, but I know in general what happens there. But like not the specifics yet. But up until issue 20, I have it pretty well worked out. Like issue 8, I only have the basic idea for, but I know pretty detailed what's going to happen in issues 6, of course, which we're already working on. I have pretty detailed in issue 7, 9, and 10. And then I've got the basic plot ideas, like where they're going to go, who they're going to fight, what the story's about, for issues 11 to 20. And then I know how the story ends with issues like 28, 29, 30. I know what's going to happen in those. So now beyond 30, I also have just a basic idea of what the series is about, but I mean, I don't know how old I'm going to be by the time I'm trying to get them out faster, but we'll see how the series is going in issue 30. But the basic idea is like, obviously the genre for Crimebusters is sort of, teen detective, Scooby-Doo sort of thing, which was a big in the 50s. That's where it's really the height of like Trixie Belden and the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew and all those things. They're all like very, very, I mean, they started earlier, but the 50s is like that's the era, right? So what's going to happen at the end of issue 30, we'll have our characters, if they survive, no spoilers, will be graduating, and it'll be the middle of 1958. So if I continue going with Crimebusters after issue 30, what's going to happen is there's going to be a genre shift. So I'm spoiling things, I guess, but I don't know if this will ever happen. But the basic idea is after they leave college, based on the stuff that happens in the storyline, they're going to be recruited by the government to become secret agents. And so Trixie and Chuck will be continuing as these secret agents, and the genre is going to shift. It's going to spy, to like spy thrillers, right? So similar, but more adult. And it's going to have more of a James Bond thing because the stories are going to start in 1959, and that's an early 60s genre, the spy thrillers. And I kind of have that idea going forward. Like I have the basic ideas, but as they go through time, the genre is going to change slightly to match the time period. So I have a story in my head for like the late 60s, early 70s, which is like a political thriller, sort of like a Watergate, all the president's men sort of thing. And then after that will be a period like in the late 70s, which would be kind of like Heart to Heart, like private detectives, like the Rockford Files and all those cool things. Tarn Fan says Chuck Chandler, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, exactly. And then like, this is all like, I'll probably never live long enough to do this. And I don't know if the people would still be interested at this point anyway, but I do have the different periods of their lives, like different genres. So like, again, the late 70s would be private detective stuff. And then the 80s, of course, the genre would have to be action movie. So like I have different story ideas in mind for each of those periods, up till about then. And even after that. So like, that in the mid 80s, our characters would be in their 50s. But I do have an idea for Trixie, where, when she's older than that, which is basically sort of like a Murder, She Wrote, where Trixie would become sort of the new Granny Gumshoe, when she's in her 70s. But this is all like, I'm going to focus on these first 30 issues and see where I'm at that point. I'm definitely committed to doing these 30 issues. But after that, I don't know where I'll be at, and I don't know if people still want to be reading it. I just have no idea, because that's, it's going to take me another 6 to 8 years, 6 to 10 years at least to get to issue 30. So I don't know how I feel when that's done. I might want to just move on to something else, but those are some of the ideas that I have in my head for running these characters for long term into a lot of stories in the future. So we'll see. I really like the characters. I like doing it. And have a whole other storyline with Vera, like a Vera solo series that I want to do. That's set during the space race and sort of at the height of NASA stuff, with Vera working for the government for NASA. But I haven't had a chance to do that either. Rob says, can't wait for the issue where Chuck loses an eye in a rubber band paperclip fight and dons an eye patch. So you've clearly read Sergeant Fury number 27 with the origin of Nick Fury's eye patch. I see that several people have just joined us. Thank you all so much for joining and for watching. I really appreciate it. Let's take a quick look back at the campaign. And I just want to say again, thank you all so much for your support. It's just really appreciated very much. And, without the support, I wouldn't be able to keep doing this. And we've just been talking about some of the long-term plans for the Crimebusters and for these characters. I do have stories up through issue 30 that I want to do, and Mac's already working on issue 6. So I'm really excited to be able to bring you these stories. And so I'm just really really grateful to everyone for their support. As you can see, we're at 121 backers right now, and it's thank you everybody for all the support. And again, welcome to all the people that have just joined us. We have several people that have just come in, and if anyone has any questions about this campaign, questions about the Crimebusters in general, or the next issue 6, questions about Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, or any of the other stuff that I'm working on, like the Fantasy Comic Quest that I'm going to be doing later this year, or anything at all, comics related, not comics related. If anybody has any questions or any comments, just throw them here in the comment section, and I'll answer anything. But again, I really appreciate everybody's support. You can see I'm here on the couch of solitude as usual. I've got the Christmas tree up behind us. Let's see. My wife says, "When are you going to trim your beard?" I don't know. The hockey playoffs are coming up. I feel like maybe I shouldn't trim it just yet. But of course, as my wife knows, the real answer is I need to get a haircut before I can really trim my beard, because you have to have the correct ratio of hair on top to beard. Otherwise, you'll be either top heavy or bottom heavy. MRP. Hey, MRP, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks as always for your support. I really appreciate it very much. I love your Doctor Strange avatar. Makes me shed a tear for my Doctor Strange collection, which I just sold in order to raise the money to make more comic books. But it's okay. The bright side is I did get the first 2 Doctor Strange omnibuses, and they're really good. They're really excellent. Oh, MRP says I got the Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam in my mailbox today. Thank you very much. Well, thanks for supporting it. I'm glad to hear that that's arriving. Rob, Tartan Phantom, I actually just packed yours last night, so that will be going out in the mail. I'm actually this close to having everybody's Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam mailed out. I only have 4 packages left to pack, because I have 4 sketch cards I'm hopefully going to be drawing tomorrow to send those out. And then once that's out, once those are done, I'm going to mail out all the Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam's to everybody, and that'll be completely done. So, as I mentioned, I got those in the day after I launched this campaign, and I think I'm going to be mailing them, the final ones, out the day after I finish the campaign. So Rob says you saved the best for last. Yes, that's exactly it. And let's see. My father-in-law says Chuck Chandler says Chris is at a future episode. Well, Chuck did help save Christmas in the last issue in Crimebusters 4. So I think Chuck's going to have to find some new holidays to save in the future. I am trying to figure out, I really want to do a story where they go to Disneyland, because this is set in the mid 50s. Like Disneyland, the TV show is still running, and Disneyland was like a big cultural thing, just like, right at the same time these stories are happening. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do that without getting in any kind of legal trouble, because it's just not the same if you use Wally World or something like that. It's got to be the real thing. But that's something that it probably wouldn't be until issue 21 or 22 before they get to Disneyland. But I'm a huge Disney theme park person, so that's something I really want to do, is to get them to Disneyland. So just so I can do a story where they're interacting with like the original like rides and attractions that Disneyland had in 19. Well, the story would be in 1957 or 58. So, but before they had a big renovation in like 1961. So the original rides. Anyway, so campaign is very close to the end here. We're gonna take a look here. Just gonna do a quick refresh. And 4 minutes left. 121 backers still. So, thank you all so much for your support again, and for joining me here, so I'm not just talking into thin air as I sometimes do on these. There's something else I was going to mention in terms of future campaigns. One thing I'm going to be doing is I'm almost out of blanks for the cover sketches, and so I do have I don't sell a lot of them, but I only have 5 or 6 of them left, and it occurred to me that I've never done a blank for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam, so I'll probably do what they call a quick starter. I'll do just a small Kickstarter, and maybe next month. I'm not quite sure, and it'll basically just be to do a print run of blanks for Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam. And if people at that time want me to draw something on those blanks, I can do that. But it'll be just nice to have those, and then I'll be selling those as well. People can do a pledge where they get a blank if they want someone else to draw on a Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam. I just thought it would be something cool to do, to have those blanks, so when people do order sketch covers, if they want it on that instead of Crimebusters, I can do it that way. Rob says, when doing hand rendered artwork, do you prefer the pen or brush when inking and finishing? I prefer pen. Yeah, I'm definitely a pen person. Never really got the hang of the brush. I did study a little bit, as I've mentioned before, with the comic artist Paul Ryan back in the 90s. So I have a little experience with it, but pen is really where it's at for me. MRP says, how's Vest coming along? I was talking about this just before you came on, and I showed some of the covers. First issue's done. In terms of I have to get it colored and then add the lettering, but I have all 24 pages, the artwork, the basic artwork's done, the pencils, the inks are done. So I'm hoping to have that first issue out this summer, and then I have an artist who's actually working on issue 2 right now, and he's drawing very quickly. Like, he's doing 3 or 4 pages a week. So I think there's a good chance that we might have both issues 1 and 2 coming out later this year. So it's coming along a lot faster than I was expecting, is the answer to that. When I hired this new artist, it's a different artist for issues 2 and 3 than issue 1, because the guy that did issue 1 is not available. I asked him to do issue 2, and he said he couldn't do any work for several months, and then when he is available, he can only do 1 issue. And 2 and 3 are a 2-part story, and I didn't want to risk changing artists in the middle of a story. So I have a new artist that's working on issue 2 and 3, and then we'll see. It's possible that the artist for issue 1 might come back to do issue 4, but that's down the road a little bit. So that's basically where we're at. I've got several of the covers are done. I'm still working on a couple. The cover, as you suggested, to do. I'm going to be doing the cover that looks like an old D&D module from the 80s. I have the design, like the module part's all done. I just need the artwork in the middle. So that still needs to be done. So there's still a little bit of work with the covers and stuff. I've also got I'm working with a friend of mine who's a dungeon master, and we're going to have like the deluxe edition of the book. Let me just pause for a second because we're just about to count down here. We're just at 10 seconds. Just a few seconds left. And that's it. So it's official. I want to thank everybody so much. So I didn't want to say anything until it was over, because I have had some people cancel at the last second before, and I wanted to wait and see where we finished. But so we see we're at 121 backers. This is like really awesome, because previous issue Crimebusters issue 4, I had 91 backers, and that's the most I've ever had for Crimebusters. So, this is a huge increase in backers. This is also the most money that I've ever gotten for one of my Kickstarters, 43.29. So the Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #1, I had 4,200 in backing, and that was with 187 backers. So that had 50% more backers, but actually slightly less money than this. So I'm really grateful to everybody. This campaign went so much better than I thought it was going to. I honestly thought I was going to finish. When I launched the campaign, I thought 2,800 was realistic. I never expected to get to 43. So, and I was hoping to get to 110 backers. So 121 is a lot more than I was expecting. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. And just to finish what I was saying about Quest, there's going to be a deluxe RPG edition. The front cover is going to look like a module from the 80s, and that edition is actually going to have extra pages that the regular comic doesn't have. Not sure whether there's going to be 4 or 8 pages, but there's going to be a role-playing supplement in the back that's going to have class rules and monsters and other supplements. So if you want to play with the rules from the Quest universe, it's going to have all of that in old school D&D gaming terms. And a friend of mine who has a role-playing game YouTube channel, and he's a DM, has been DMing for like 30 years. He's working on me with that to do that. He's currently writing up some of the guides for that. So, that edition is going to cost a little bit more. It's going to be, a very limited variant, but it's also going to have the bonus material to hopefully people get their value, and it's going to look really cool. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you to my father-in-law. Thank you again. You always support me so much, and I really appreciate it very much. Rob says, congratulations. Nobody backed out at the last second. I do appreciate that as well. We have seen that on some of these previous live streams where someone backed out within the last 2 minutes of the campaign. And last campaign was really hard. Like the Cthulhu versus Uncle Sam #2, I had over $600 of canceled pledges. And then once the campaign ended, I had another $400 where people's credit cards didn't go through and errored pledges. And some of them I got fixed, but I still ended up losing over $200 in backing last time from people whose cards didn't go through. So, it was really difficult campaign last time. So that's part of why I did not expect this one to go that well, because last one was really hard. But thanks to all of you, this was a huge success. So thank you all so much. I'm gonna need to step away and end this momentarily. But before I do, anyone else have any questions or anything before I go? Any questions about any of the various comics that I'm working on or anything like that? Again, I want to thank everyone, not just for your support with the Kickstarter, but I want to thank you all for coming to the live stream here. I appreciate that. I know, as I was telling my wife beforehand, I figured on a Friday night, a lot of people would be out in the clubs tonight. I figure you guys would be out just clubbing, a lot of bar hopping and dancing. So I appreciate you instead spending this time with me here on YouTube talking about comic books. Anyone else have any last questions or comments before I close this down? Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end the broadcast again. Thanks very much. Just so you know what to expect, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing a backer kit again. So the surveys will be a week or two before the surveys go out. I'm hoping to have the comic sent to the printer. It'll be 2.5 weeks to get the money from Kickstarter. There'll be a little extra delay because we're ending on a Friday night. So it'll be about 17 days to get the money. I'm hoping that once I get the money from Kickstarter, I'll be able to order the comic right away. So I'm hoping to have the comic sent to the printer in the middle of March. And theoretically, I'll hopefully get it printed back from the printer end of April, beginning of May, and I can start sending it out then. But that's the basic time frame. I'll be sending an update out in the next couple of days to just go over that time frame. So thank you all so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. There'll be a lot more comics to come thanks to all your support. So thank you all very much.